Good day, my people, and welcome to Sit, Sip, and Chat. Now, let's continue the journey. Hello, my people, and welcome to another Sit, Sip, and Chat. My name is Glenda York of GCY Initiative, and Sit, Sip, and Chat is simply a show where I sit with different persons within the community. We sit together, we chat together, and we have a sip or two together. Today's guest is, I believe, a well-known face on St. Martin, none other than Mr. Sjorensly Valies, or AKA Pete, of the workshop of SHOX Media and of Great Bay Media Studios. Welcome.
Hello.
And before we go into our chat with Sjorensly, we're going to first highlight where we are. So like I just told you guys, he is part of the team of Great Bay Media Studios, part of our production team, and that is exactly where we are filming today. Great Bay Media Studios is located in Phillipsburg. They are here to make your product for organizations, companies, or creatives, make your media pop and hit the right spot. And today we'll also highlight what we're sipping on. Today we are sipping on the Purple Rain from Kelt's Elixirs. Last week we had our Blue Colada. This week we have our Purple Rain.
Handcrafted cocktails.
And it's smoothie as handcrafted cocktails. She puts different concoctions together herself, and this is the results. And we'd like to thank her for sponsoring her products for us today. And with that, we'll go right into our chat.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
And for persons that may or may not know, Sjorensly is not only, or should I say Pete? Pete is not only our guest for today, but he is also the producer of the Sit, Sip, and Chat show, and he is also my husband.
Hat. Pun hat. Pun hat. Yes.
A thing that is not lost on him. So for persons that may not know, or may have just heard, or may have seen you in passing, who is Pete? Who is Sjorensly?
I don't know who Pete is, but you know, he tends to get blamed for everything. So that's good.
Sounds about right.
My name is Sjorensly Valies. I am a jack of most trades, as in, if I see something that I like, you know, I investigate. And if I really do like it, I get into it. And if I really get into it, then, you know, I try help it blossom. Other than that, I've had a lot of names. I'm a gamer, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a poet, I'm a producer, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a videographer. I'm not a photographer, not really too strong on photography. I'm a multimedia editor.
Yes.
You
wear several hats.
I'm a facilitator, I'm an avid volunteer, I'm an activist, I'm
former political candidate.
A former political candidate, yes. I am a lot of things, and I am not born on St. Martin.
And you just needed to put that in.
Just had to put that in.
Not born on St. Martin. Yes. He was born originally in Curacao.
Yes.
He has ties to Stacia.
Yes.
But he has his formative years in St. Martin. So, former student of Milton Peters College.
Correct.
Now, seeing that you've traveled so much, how do you think that has impacted your worldview? Because then when you finished your high schooling here, then you went to the Netherlands to further your education. How do you think that has impacted your worldview?
Well, my travels didn't start in high school. I've traveled a lot during my, you know, pre-high school years too. I've lived for a stint in Stacia, where I did my primary school, part of my primary school. I did for a stint in St. Martin, where I did part of my primary school. So I've traveled since the age of, I want to say 3, back and forth between the islands of Curacao, St. Martin, and Stacia. What that has done for my social developments, let's call it that, is that I've realized that people are people, really and truly. No matter where you go, people remain people. And yeah, you got to understand people in order to be able to operate within the scope of society in which you're placed. So that was my, I want to say, my little advantage over a lot of other people.
And you say that will kind of help you fit into the different spaces that you fill in, because just now you list a whole list of things. Though, even though sometimes you try to stay behind the scenes, you do end up in front of the camera. In front, end up being the face of places a lot of times. Do you think that your travels have helped impacted that?
I would think so, because what my travels have primarily done is caused me to realize that if you don't venture further, you don't find out more. You don't discover or be rewarded for more. So you have to put yourself out there in order for you to reach the next step, the next plateau. And that's what I've been doing ever since, I could remember. I'm basically traveling, adventuring, taking in, processing, and then, making it mine or making it more. That's that's what I got from my travels.
So then we did a high school. We did growing up, St. Martin, Stacia, Curacao. Then we traveled to Holland, and then we chose graphic design.
No.
But we chose IT first, right?
We chose
IT first, and then we went from IT to graphic design. So explain that transition, and then how was the schooling in Holland?
Well, it started here, of course, with one of the earlier classes at the time in information technology. So I was really good at that, and of course, I was also a real avid gamer. As in, I was, still is, passionate about it, of course. What I realized was the fundamentals of everything that I found interested lay in computers. So I decided to, try pursue IT. That was one of the avenues that they were offering. When you're going abroad, you can pursue IT. They had a whole list of what Samantha wants, what Samantha looking for. IT was big on there. And then, also my reasoning was, IT, you're behind a computer, you're worrying about computers, you worry about these things, you're not necessarily dealing with people. And of course, I had my fill of people, I understand people, so I was trying to avoid people. So this was the field of my choice. And then I left and went to Holland, which was great, but IT wasn't really what it cracked up to be. And then, of course, after a year of exploring in Holland, a year or two, I believe, then I realized, you know what? Hey, graphics is my thing. It's constantly pulling me. It's where my interests lie mostly, and what I find myself doing most of the time. I started at a really young age in graphic design, and at about, I believe, 14. I was just using my mom's printer to make labels for the neighbor or for his business, for stuff like that. And so it was something that I had from small. And then when I realized the extent of it, and of course the connection to the IT, I was like, oh, you know what? This is the next step.
It works out perfectly. So it started off one place and it just kind of transitioned to somewhere else.
Yeah, pretty much organically.
Organically, which is important. Nice. It's a nice little transition.
Okay.
And talking about transitions, we are going to transition to our first break. We're going to have a sip. We're going to regroup.
I'm sipping. I'm drinking, actually. I'm not sipping.
That's okay. That just means it tastes good. Which is what we want to let you guys know. Kel's Elixir's got them drinks, so make sure you follow her on social media. Let her know if you want to get one of her concoctions, because you won't regret it. And with that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
It's going to finish.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? Qu'est-ce que tu fais là? But sorry, no sir. They got this game tonight and I can't miss it. Me and my boy, we gotta watch the game, So I bringing this in. You check? Alright, let me watch your leg.
Sir, sorry. Why so difficult? Look, I'm watching TV here on my phone with the Tell TV Plus app. You really gotta upgrade.
Okay, so miss, tell me about the Tell TV Plus. I hear about this.
Okay, so once you apply for Tell TV Plus, you can enjoy it anytime on the go.
Anytime?
Anytime.
On the go?
On the go. You simply download the app, log into your account at any time, sit back and enjoy. You will never have to miss your match.
Yo, bus driver, take me back to tell him now, please.
And we are back. We had to refill because we were sipping off camera, and then we can't promote it if the glass is empty, so we refilled. And we continue to sip. So we moved back to St. Martin a few years ago, 10, 11,
12.
It's been 12 already?
Yes, I moved back to St. Martin December of 2011.
It was 11?
Yes, December of 2011.
You would, yeah. Doesn't seem like 11. I thought it was 12. No, 11, you're right. You are right. You are better with the dates than I am. December 12th. Okay, and then we moved back with what thoughts in mind? How are we going? Because you're a person, you don't stay stagnant. You have to, you move forward, you continue to progress. What was the idea when moving back to St. Martin?
Okay, at this point of my life, I was done with school, or school was done with me, however you want to look at it. I've been working for amount of years now, so school ended in 2009. This point was 2011. I was already working quite successfully, actually, for
Clothing brand.
Oh yes, I launched my clothing brand, and that was great. But my consistent job was service desk IT technician for technical help desk.
Okay.
Yes, so I was answering telephone calls about internet problems all throughout Europe, and from there, I made a living. In the meantime, in between there, of course, I used my design craft, and what did I do? I launched a clothing line, yes, together with a few other guys, a guy from Aruba, or a guy from Curacao, and a guy from France. We launched an organic clothing line. That was pretty successful, although it wasn't as fruitful as we would like it to be. And then in 2011, the idea sparked for me to, start to think a little bit more about my social life, my personal social life, and home. And the both kind of coincide with when I set out to pursue the love of my life. At the time, I thought it was the love of my life. But I'll tell you about it later. And yeah, I decided to go back home. There was nothing else happening for me. Life in Europe was pretty much the same old, same old. You're in the same cycle. You're on the clock. You're working 9 to 5, and then after that you're partying, and then after that you're doing whatever not it is. It was pretty structured, but there was no personal ambition for me. So I figured, you know what? Let me take what I have, what I know, and then let's go back home and see what we can make happen.
Okay, so then when you moved back home, how was that transition? Because then how long were you in Europe?
12 years. Just about 12 years, yeah.
Okay, so then after 12 years in Europe and then coming back to St. Martin, transitioning back from a big country to a small island, how was that transition moving back?
It was what people tend to call reverse culture shock. Because again, you come from a place, especially the Netherlands. The Netherlands, everything runs on time. Your bus runs on time. Your food, if they say you're going to be 10 minutes, it's going to be on time. Your work, if you show up to work 5 minutes before time starts, you're late. So that's how on time they are. You got to be there at least 15 minutes before you start to work. Those kind of stuff. And then to come back here and realize that no matter what you do, no matter what aspect of the community you're in, everything is late. Even payments. So that kind of put it at a unique perspective for me, especially a person who traveled through Europe or traveled through the Netherlands quite avidly. Every weekend I would find myself on a train.
Yes.
So then meticulous timing and meticulous planning was a big thing. Was a big part of it. And then to reach here and realize, even though I have no type of transportation and public transportation was pretty much lax, I still made it to almost every meeting on time before everyone else that had a car. I was like, okay, something must be up. But I adjusted. I adjusted quite well, and I started to pursue the things that piqued my interest, which at the time was I got a job at a local tour company, which I used to create all their media stuff for them. And at the time, what else did I do? Oh, I did a lot of avid environmental activism and volunteerism.
And gaming.
And gaming, yes.
Yes.
VXG.
Because we just started off with the gaming. That was a big part of
Correct.
our life back then. Okay, so then came back home, reverse culture shock, adapting to the society, and then but as you say, cutting out your niche. You're finding your place in all of this that is happening on the island.
Yeah.
What did you decide your place was, and then how did you make that work for you? Because we can decide, okay, this is what I want to do. Sit, sip, and chat is a thing that I want to do, but then I am still working to find my place within the media that is on St. Martin. So then once you decided what you wanted to do, how did you find your place and make that stick?
Well, I always knew what I wanted to do, so to speak. As in, the things that draw my interest were the things that I naturally pursued. So I didn't particularly have, let's say, oh, I really, really want to do that. I really want to. No, I kept my eyes open and I was receptive to the world, and the things that passed by that really drew my attention are the things that I decided to
Pursue.
gravitate towards,
Okay.
so to speak. So personal ambition was minute, very little. At the time, my main thinking was I have to sustain myself, I have to build up myself, because of course my pursuit I was pursuing a girl. I was trying to show my family that I know I do in a back home, I can take care of myself. Adulting, yes, and of course you want to be successful, so you want to make sure that you make all the right choices or be as well connected as possible, because St. Martin is who you know.
Yes.
Luckily, my generation, which are like the turning point for the current generation, which is crazy, we were all kind of coming back at the same time. So, to establish those connections, to reach out and, form a stable, strong, reliable network wasn't too hard. So a lot of endeavors, a lot of opportunities passed my way. I jumped on all of them, almost all of them, and they all, blossomed to an extent. And that's what kept me pretty much going, from one job to the next job, from one event to the next event, from one possibility to the next possibility.
So then regardless, because graphic design again was the niche when
That's
you
the basis,
moved on. So then regardless of where you were, graphic design is also what, I don't want to say like in the background, but it's kind of what sustained you throughout. So
Yes. Yeah.
regardless of what you were doing, you were still
my
using
trade
that
was
trade.
still my trade and my craft was still graphics and media.
Okay.
So I was pretty much with a basis in technology, of course, with IT. I was pretty much well in the industry of St. Martin, because St. Martin, as we all know, we run a little bit backwards compared to the rest of the world. So
Clarify that.
so basically, the technologies that I'm using in Europe, for instance,
Okay.
and the processes that we use in Europe
Hadn't been used
down here.
Okay.
So basically, to think up or to bridge that gap was pretty simple, because I know where it's leading.
Yes.
And I know where St. Martin is. And I'm like, okay, but we're missing all of this. Okay, well then let me just
Transition
adjust.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adjust and use my know-how from seeing how it can be, and then fill in the gaps.
Okay. So then we went from the graphic design to what we're now into, which is the videography.
Which is, yes, multimedia production.
Yes. Multimedia production. We do not want to lessen what the craft is. We're going to get more into the multimedia production and what he's currently up to when we return.
Oh, it's done already.
Yo! Be the first.
Okay, my people, we are back. We're rounding up with Sjorensly. We're still here at Sit, Sip, and Chat with Sjorensly Valies. And we're still sipping with Kel's Elixirs. Now, she made sure to let me know when she dropped this stuff off for me. Carnival time, this is what she's coming with. So you can take a little sip, you can close it back up and continue your jamming. So I just letting you know what's coming for Carnival, so you can prepare, so you can know what you want to order, so you can let her know, so she can have it ready for you, for your jump up, for your juve, for your shows. You just prepare. So make sure you check out Kel's Elixirs on Instagram, so you can let her know what it is that you want to have. And if you follow me on GCY Initiative, I'm going to come up with a contest, and we can give away this one right here, so you guys can taste test Kel's Elixirs. And with that, we're back.
We're back.
How's your drink?
I need another refill. It goes down really quickly though.
Yeah. That's good.
I guess that was the invite for a refill.
Yeah. It was. You just have to hint it. I'll help you out after that. So now, after we were there, we moved back. Graphic design is the niche. Then you have your own company,
Yes.
D Workshop.
Yes.
Okay. Then D Workshop transitioned. We are now SHOX Media.
Yes. It's an interesting transition.
Yes. We're going to just transition it to SHOX Media.
Okay.
And then SHOX Media has blossomed into Great Bay Media.
Yes and no.
Fill in the blanks where I skip over. Fill in the blanks.
The workshop started out as an official entity so that I can offer my services to government and other, bigger entities in the community. And then, of course, so I can pay a tax because they don't want you working for free. They don't want you working without paying the government their share.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So I did that. It progressed well. I didn't really oversell myself, kind of undersold myself. But, this was me feeling out the market, feeling out the community, feeling out, how best I fit. So it was a nice little transition. It was also just a side thing because my main thing was, of course, graphics. So I got a job at the Daily Herald, which connected me to the entire business market, actually. Being that the Daily Herald was one of the most prominent newspapers at the time. That opened up a lot of doors for me. One of those doors was a little dabble with videography and the creative arts through entities such as VXG,
Yes.
through entities such as the Cultural Department, and of course through entities such as the Poets Lounge, because the Poets Lounge exposed me to Samaritan culture, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we tapped into a niche in Samaritan culture which was sort of dormant. And when we did that, and then we started to showcase it, and then we practiced on how to up the exposure, people started to realize that what we're doing, it has a place.
Yeah.
And how we're doing it and who's doing it really, helps resonate in the community. And from there, it grew. I ventured into more filmmaking, so to speak, or documentation. And then from there, a little bit of ups and downs. Carnival came on my radar. I did some, from freelance work for them. I did some.
We had a series.
Yes. We created a series. And, that spitballed into my current media production company, which is SHOX Media.
Okay. And then SHOX Media was kind of.
SHOX Media got enveloped or came under the umbrella of Great Bay Media. Great Bay Media is a collaborative venture between multiple studios and multiple entities in the creative industry.
Okay, so then D Workshop was more based on graphic design and editing and that type of stuff.
And that is my official.
And that is
company.
the official brand.
Yes.
And then we have SHOX Media, which is more with videography.
Which is the video production
aspect.
arm of the workshop.
Yes, or the multimedia aspect. So then it's not just the graphic design, but it also includes videography and and editing and sound and everything that entails.
Yeah.
And then we transition to Great Bay Media, like you just mentioned, which is a collaborative effort between different entities. Now, what made you want to? I don't know if start or be a part of is better, but let's say be a part of Great Bay Media. What was it? The idea behind that?
Well, the idea mainly was the fact that I learned that I loved video more than I loved graphics. I mean, graphics is my basis, but graphics is just still pictures. Video is moving pictures. So I kind of evolved into videos, and of course with the emergence of social media and reels and all of these things, video became a more prominent form of communication. So naturally you revolve towards the thing that inspire more people, the thing that catch more people's eye. And that's how I ended up in videography. I always loved it, but never could pursue it because, of course, you need the technology, you need the know-how, you need, the patience, because there's a lot of patience involved.
Tedious work.
And you need to be able to, multitask and balance all these little variables. And this was something that came kind of natural to me. So I decided, you know what, let me go all in.
So then, Great Bay Media Studios now. What are we working on that you can let the public know right now? What are we working on? And then what is the goal, let's say, for Great Bay Media?
The goal for Great Bay Media is to do what pretty much few people on St. Martin could have done or can do or fail to realize that they need to do is create a collaborative foundation for creatives. That's it. Create a collaborative foundation for creatives, and you will see that all your creatives in your community are going to springboard off of this, blossom off of this. And I've spent my years, like I tell my friends, I spent my years waiting for somebody to come up with a brilliant idea and do it. Even though this is something that I foresaw from before, but I was not that personal, ambitious kind of guy.
Right, yeah.
So
They was taking too long.
it was taking too long. People getting older, the grace finally starting to show. So I was like, you know what? Let me do it myself. So I started the ball, and a few other people jumped on board. And so far, we've been just creating waves in the Dutch side media industry, because we're doing stuff that other people either don't have the time to do, don't have the patience to figure out, or really don't care to do because it requires a lot of moving parts, a lot of different entities, and collaboration, and positive collaboration. Not just, oh, I fed up, I done, I had enough. No. Okay, we do this, we reach a bottle point, look for exterior, motivation, and then keep going. Keep going.
So the main point, because what I'm getting from all of that, the end goal, the main point of Great Bay Studios is just, we have these creatives, we have these people doing these different things, we all have the talent. Let's collaborate and let's see how we can make this grow, how we can expand the media on St. Martin, how we can show our force by working together.
Because I'll give you one example. Every community needs a news outlet. And needs a creditable news outlet, and that is something we lack. I mean, on the 2D form, sure. On the print media, sure. But on the video media, on the media that the world is consuming right now, we don't have any type of representation.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to elevate the level of representation so that we can curate it, showcase it, and put it out there to the world, St. Martin to the world. And the only way you reach St. Martin to the world is if you're on a world level.
He said all of the things. He said all of the things. Basically, the only way we're moving forward is together. And what Great Bay Studios is trying to do is bring us together so that we can move forward together and show St. Martin the greatness that we are.
Yes.
Those are my words, because GCY is also a proponent of St. Martin has a uniqueness and a greatness to it. Let's get it out to the world. And Great Bay Media Studios is trying to get everyone together so that they can properly do that. And guys, that is the end of my interview with my husband, with Sjorensly Valies of the workshop of SHOX Media of Great Bay Media Studios. We thank you for this time. I thank you for this time.
Thank you. Thank you for the drink.
You're welcome. Until the next time, my people, have a good day.